when I click on this button, look how refreshed this man looks. That looks like a man who got new head coach. it like
Yeah.
it's like a man that's like the days of Nagy is over.
We came from the depths of hell and we're alive. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
We've been stuck in purgatory forever. So we finally made the big splash that the Bears never done in my lifetime. So
it's going out getting your guy. All right, now let me ask you. The offseason, we heard that Tom Brady may be luring Ben Johnson to the Raiders. That the Dallas Cowboys was, you know, interviewing people, potentially potentially Kellen Moore or Ben Johnson. Then we hear that y'all tried to interview Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones says no. He's like, what? Jerry Jones says no, and then they fire him a few days later. Um, Eddie George interview with y'all, but ultimately getting another NFC North guy, an offensive minded coach, somebody that should be good with your young, promising QB. So, what was your thoughts like throughout that process of not knowing if you were going to get Ben Johnson, being denied a chance to interview Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl in the NFC North? So I
see
just
that.
want to see what y'all like the Bear fan base was thinking about that.
Well, kind of. I thought McCarthy was coming here because they went and wined and dined him. They took him out to dinner. They had him in town. They did all that stuff. They did the interview with Eddie George in person too. Now the backstory of Ben Johnson, they didn't even interview him in person. They did it through Zoom and stuff, and then they did it through the back channels. So I mean, this is not even like I wasn't expecting it. And then you hear Tom Brady, NFL Jesus, so they think maybe he's going there. But
Mm.
why would you want to go there? Everybody's failed. One, two, you don't have a quarterback that you can get even in the draft. So why would you even want to go there? And then with Mike McCarthy, I thought that would have been a good fix. But that's kind of like the bridge quarterback, like you say the bridge or the bridge coach, like the bridge quarterback. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So with Ben Johnson, he's that main guy that you want. He's fiery. He'll cuss you out if you're not doing your job. He'll hold you accountable. Um, now will that relate to a good head coach? I don't know, but being a play caller. Hold on, buddy. Uh, what's up?
Get that Minecraft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Iron Man did.
hey,
Oh, that's the Hulk, Ultimate Hulk.
hey, Chronic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's Iron Man. Yeah.
Tell your son need to hold you hostage. He need to hold
Oh,
you hostage. Minecraft movie coming out in April. Make sure your dad take you to the
oh,
Minecraft movie.
yeah. We're going to Minecraft. That's Booty. You
He
can
got,
say out of it.
what's
Everybody
up,
in the
man?
chat. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah. He loves Minecraft.
yeah, they got the Minecraft movie coming out.
All right. I'll talk to you in a bit. Okay. Let Abel sleep. All right. But does that make a good head coach? I don't know, but he's a good head OC because he's done it for 3 years. Unlike Matt Nagy, where he only did it for 8 games, and then we're
Mm.
like, oh, let's go sign that guy. He did good for 8 games. Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
games ain't
Well,
it? So
no, like he
here's
got
this
hot. That was it.
here's the second part of it. Now
Yeah.
the Lions, who just was the number one seed in the NFC, like should have went to the Super Bowl last year, get beat by the rookie quarterback at home, give up 50, and now they lose Ben Johnson in division to y'all, and there's talks that Aaron Glenn may be taking a coach job somewhere. That Dan Campbell feels like he'll lose both of his guys. Now, what do you think that does in division? Do you think y'all have like pulled one of the put the banana in the tailpipe to the Lions and took their
Oh,
guy?
oh, for sure. That's exactly what you want to do. They're beating you the last 4 years. You might as well see if you can get the hot guy that's in the division. Um, Now, Dan Campbell, you know damn well they're going to have a setback. This was their year. They needed to win this year because they knew after this year that those guys were going to be gone. And every team that's lost their coordinators have always had a step back. Now, do they still get in the playoffs? Maybe 10-7, 11-6, but they're not going to go win 15 games again. They're not doing that.
It's
So
tough because like all those first round draft picks they got in the golf deal, those guys are gonna start slowly creeping up towards that contract because that was one of the true win-win trades in the NFL. Like
Hmm.
the Lions got a quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl. They had got like 55 first round picks. The Rams got a Super Bowl out of Matt Stafford, and it like that seemed to be a trade that like them giving up all those that capital pick wise didn't handicap them because I mean Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams, Jared Verse, those are all like new
Yeah.
drafted guys. So it's gonna be interesting to see what y'all do with y'all roster. Now you got an offensive minded coach because y'all have a really good defense. So who is coming up for a free agency for the Bears that y'all might potentially lose?
In all reality, nobody. Everybody's still under contract. We got 66 million in cap space. We're gonna add some people. Think what we do in the draft. People are being
Where Bears
crazy.
picking in draft
10.
10 picking
So
10.
yeah, so I'll at least get a rookie premier card still this year.
You
So
get
I'm
a
kind
rookie
of stoked.
premier. All right, so who
But
do you
anyways,
want? I did
that's
the mocks.
besides the point.
I did the mocks. Like y'all will be around to pick one of the best tackles in the draft if y'all want them. Are you going? Are you saying Ben Johnson should go offensive tackle, or are you saying like shake it up and and get a playmaker for your offensive defense? What you thinking?
Well, well, that's the thing about our draft. We have second round is really close back to back. So if we take, I don't, I don't know, we'd have to trade up. So if we did something like, say, something crazy, like take Gentry at 10, and then
Mm.
fucking and then trade up with those two second round picks to like maybe 11 or 12. Say Will Campbell's still there. Boom.
All right, so take your pick. You got Will Campbell. You got Genty. Who you picking?
Well, I'm taking offensive lineman because we need to build in the trenches. And as much as a fun toy like Gentry would be to have on the offense, I think you can find running backs like that are explosive later in the rounds, later in the drafts. I mean, look at Pacheco; he's a seventh round pick. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd take Pacheco on my team.
Yeah,
So
this draft got a lot of goons at running back outside. Like it's gonna be a team that's gonna spend on Genty because he's been compared as like a faster Emmett. But
yeah,
when you talk about like Ollie Gordon, Scatterbo, Dylan Sampson, Amarion
yeah,
Hampton, it's gonna be a lot of good backs that are gonna come in that third, fourth round. That I've done the mocks a bunch of times. It's gonna be a lot of those running backs that's gonna be around. I mean, you look at the
see,
Bills, what James Cook has turned into. Some of these
oh yeah,
young running backs that the teams have drafted, like not up high. You know, Bijan Robinson is a goon, but I don't think the Falcons use him well enough. I
no,
think that's the question you got to ask. Like, if you do get that guy, like, do you get him and waste him, or you get him and actually use him? So
I think Bijan Robinson needs to be used like Saquon. I
he
mean, they're
do because
similar play types.
he's super talented. But I
Yeah,
agree. I think y'all should go. This is a draft that normally drafts like somebody's taking offensive tackle like in the first 5 picks. This is a draft that like we all expect like Cam Ward, Shadur, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, and
those are
T
going
Mac
top
from
five.
Arizona. Like so the first 6 picks are kind of locked. I don't think you'll see any variation in the first 6. Then when you get after that, it's just based on what teams need to move up and one. I think that there's a really strong chance at 10 y'all be able to pick like the best tackle off the board. And which last year it was like Joe Alt and JC Latham came back to back, and the Titans
Yeah,
knew they was going to take one of the two. Chargers took Joe Alt. We got JC Latham. We both got starting left tackle. So if you draft Will Campbell at 10, he turns out to be Joe Alt or JC Latham, I think Caleb Williams will thank Ben Johnson in the front
oh yeah,
office. Because
yeah,
that's another person. The connection that we have is we was interviewing Cunningham from y'all at GM, but
hmm
I'm not sure how the situation went. We got a really awkward situation with our old assistant GM running a coup, getting getting Rand Carthon out and assuming all power, and he has ear to the billionaire owner. So he's gonna assume roster all personnel, and he's gonna assume like control over the draft board. So I don't know if I Berganzi, I think changes that. I think if we got Cunningham from y'all, it would that would have changed. I think it was depending on the person that they brought in, how much power they would be willing to relinquish. But I don't think you bring anybody in from the Chiefs and tell them they can't have power over
Yeah,
personnel. GM, I don't think it
yeah.
works that way.
I would have liked to seen Cunningham go to you guys. But a little quick side note that the reason why Ben Johnson came here, he said he needed assurances, and people were saying, oh well, he wants to make the call on draft picks and blah blah blah. Well, it was making assurance that George McCaskey and Warren, our president, have no say in anything that him and Ryan Poles do,
Wow, and it's
because that's the
interesting.
reason why it's failed so many years before.
Titans like to use that word collaboration. Like, but you
That's
do have to
bullshit.
have some kind of some kind of sync between your head coach, your GM, your player personnel, your owner,
Yeah,
because I think sometimes when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, like
correct.
the fact that Patrick Mahomes goes trains with these guys and says, "Hey, no, 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 I want Rasheed Rice," and that could be articulated in a situation where they'll make the move to get him, but still it doesn't affect their draft board. So it's like,
Yeah,
all right, Mahomes, we give you your one receiver, and everybody else is we picking for defense. Like, I think you do have to have some collaboration when it comes to what the coaching staff wants, what the GM picking for the future, not just being stuck in a situation.
yep.
And to answer a question in the chat, Thomas Monroe, the resident Cowboy hater, says Genty's going to Dallas. Well, the Bears pick in front of Dallas if they want them. They'll pick him before Dallas.
I mean, if
Like,
there's a way to come up and get an offensive lineman in the first round, I mean, he could go. I don't think so, though. I think we go offensive lineman because that's what Ben Johnson wants to do. He wants to do play action, run the ball. I think he'll find someone that can, pound the rock and shit. But I think that could be, later in the rounds, though. I mean, you build 1, 2, and 2, you go get offensive lineman, or you go on the free agent. You got 66 million. I'm sure. I haven't really looked at the free agents for offensive linemen, but or you make a trade for one. I mean, it's always possible to do that.
yeah. I
But
mean, what I've looked at is I've done the mock like a billion times. I
yeah,
think what's going to happen, those first six guys we talked about are going to come off the board. Maybe the order's a little bit different than we think. But once they come off the board, seeing that the Giants' hand will be forced by what the Browns and Titans do,
yeah,
seeing that the Jets and Raiders both need a QB but not in the position to draft one in the first round, I think once those first six elite guys come off the board, then I think teams are gonna start trading up and down. You're gonna see somebody come up to get Michael, the Georgia edge rusher. You're gonna see somebody come up to get Genty. You're gonna see somebody come up to get maybe Will Campbell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in that situation, I think you're gonna see people coming up to get the guy in the first round they want, not
yeah,
necessarily like best available player when it falls. Because like I just think that's how I've seen it. I've done it too many times to know like who's in front of who, needing whatever player. But I think this may be the draft that it's so much depth in rounds 2 through 5 that like you could give up a position in the third or the fourth um or fifth to come up in there first to get the guy you want. So it
yeah,
might be a situation for y'all that like once them first six come off the board, the Jets or the Raiders, whoever's sitting there, y'all might swap.
yeah.
Y'all might swap. Y'all might come up and try to get y'all tackle. Like it would be worth it to take the number one tackle off the board at 7. It'd be
Some
worth giving up a third round, a fourth round pick.
definitely. And hell, you could even maybe do it for next year. You still keep it this year.
True, 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 true. Sometimes I don't understand why teams do that. Like me personally, like I want all my picks this year. I,
Right,
I don't want
right.
none next year. I'm trying to get better right now, and this is gonna be an interesting off season because last year we lost 8 head coaches, and then you had a lot of new faces coming in. This year, some guys that we didn't expect to be gone are gone. Some new coaches, new GMs all across the league, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this season finishes between the teams that are left there, and then going right into the off season. How is teams going to shake out next year? Because it's some teams that are at the end of their rope. The Niners
Oh yeah,
Cowboys. You just go
Yep.
through some of the teams that like they've maxed out their playoff window, and now guys got to start getting paid, and it's a chance for some teams to step up and make some significant jumps. Like I think the Patriots will be better next year. I think the Dolphins may take a step back. Tyreek Hill wants out. it's
Well,
it's a lot of moving parts.
like you said though, with all if you have a young quarterback in the first round, your team's going to get better. Usually. So if the organization is smart, but it seems like to be every if you noticed all the offensive minds are turning into head coaches. So it's like if you don't have an offensive minded head coach, it's like you better have a very very good offensive coordinator, like obviously Ben Johnson, because what is Dan Campbell gonna do? Call plays again? I mean, remember when he did before he
Nah,
found
he not doing that. I think
Nah,
I
no.
think you right on that. You know what I'm saying? You brought up an element that I hadn't put that together. Like either you're gonna get an offensive head coach with a quarterback that can match, or you do with Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. You put Dan
Yeah.
Campbell and Ben Johnson. Like you put the defensive minded head coach with a really good offensive mind. And you kind of have a meeting of the minds, so to speak. The Chiefs have been really good at it. Spagnola's defense with Andy Reid's offense and Patrick Mahomes, which is like which has been perfect for them. But I think like maybe that's what you have to put together, like the either or scenario. I'm interested to see who Mike Vrabel hires as his OC in New England, and
Yeah.
and you're right. And something you said earlier, these coaches are taking teams that got a QB. Like Drake May is in New England, probably has a lot to do with Vrabel going. Ben Johnson going
Yep.
with Caleb Williams probably has a lot the reason why he went to Chicago because I didn't put that piece of the puzzle together. Like the other two teams that he was gonna pick, like they don't have a
Yep.
QB and they're not in a position. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Dallas trading up with the Titans and getting Shador and sending Dion to Dallas, but I feel like that's so far fetched of
What
so
if
many
the
things that would have to happen.
what if the OC from Buffalo, since he can't be interviewed right now, I think his name is Brady. What if he goes to Dallas? He's an offensive mind.
Mm.
What's up, dude?
But I think we all know Jared Jones is looking at Kellen Moore. Jared Jones got to have one of his guys, and I think that's been the problem in Dallas.
About
Like
20 minutes.
some of the franchises that have suffered, like
In a
the
bit, bud.
Bears, the Titans, the Jets, the Jaguars, like their front office really don't know how to get out the way and let the football people make the long term decisions that's gonna work. Because like I see a lot in y'all, what we have is it's too many people pulling different directions and you don't wholeheartedly know what you want to do. So then you waste the prime of Khalil Mack. Now y'all got Montez Sweat, y'all got Demarcus Walker, y'all got Brisker, y'all got all these
Gordon and
cornerbacks.
got TJ Edmonds,
Y'all like
Edwards.
gooned out on defense, and your
Yep.
team look like my team. Like they stop people, and then they get tired in the second half when the offense
Yep.
can't put points up. So I think that's something to watch. The tough part for y'all is y'all are like probably the toughest division in football right now.
Yep.
So
But
like that's
this
gonna be something
all
to
three
navigate.
though went one and done though, Buddha. All
Who
three
did
went one and done.
they one and done, but I mean like three teams in the division made the playoffs. So like that is impressive. But the
It
one good
is.
thing that y'all have that they don't is they will play a playoff schedule and y'all won't. y'all
Yeah.
the playoff schedule will be harder than y'all schedule, so y'all should get the easier schedule.
Plus the Vikings take a step back. I mean, if you're starting JJ McCarthy, you know it's gonna be a heavy run if you're not bringing Sam Darnold back, and it's gonna be play action and hope and little plays and maybe chunk plays here and there, and they're not gonna win that many games. And then same with Lions, they take a step back because they're coordinators, and then the Packers. I don't think Jordan Love is him. I think that's just me being biased, but I think he's a good enough quarterback, but I don't think he's gonna take them where they want to go. I just think he's a good young quarterback. I think a lot of this whole league is turning into good young quarterbacks, and I don't know why people hate on the draft class this year. Who's better than who besides Jaden Daniels? Yes, I agree. He's been the the best, and he's taken. He alone has taken his team. It's not like the defense is carrying him. He is putting up points on people. So besides him, why can't all of them be good? They see that's the thing about Washington. They did it right. They got um, They got the head coach. They got Cliff Kingsbury. They got a decent offensive line to make, give him time. And if he doesn't have time, he gets the scramble ability that not every quarterback has. So you got to worry about that too. I mean, so basically, it's like what we wanted Justin Fields to be is what Jaden Daniels when we drafted Justin
Mm.
Fields. That's what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah,
But
that's one of the reasons why I think that the front office may be leading Cam Ward over Shador for us if we go QB is like watching Jaden Daniels scramble, watching Jalen Hurts run a 50-yard touchdown, watching Patrick Mahomes do what he do, watching
it
Lamar and
helps.
Josh Allen run and extend plays, CJ Stroud extend plays. Like it's starting to become very evident you can't have a statue in the pocket. And Shador has pretty good pocket awareness, but he's not like as physical and as good as could move in the pocket as well as Cam Ward. So that made like that's the direction that the league is going in, and I think at this point, like if you don't have a playmaker at QB, like you really are in trouble in this
Yeah,
this
you
new
better hop on
this
now.
new look NFL because it ain't that many Matt Staffords and Jared Goffs. I mean, Matt
No,
Stafford throws no look passes in the playoffs. You know what I'm
it's not
saying?
the
Like
league
he
anymore.
might be
Yeah,
the best no look passer of all time.
I
I
love
don't
me,
think I
Matt.
ever
I
seen
love Matt
nobody throw
Stafford.
as many no look dimes
Yeah,
as Stafford, and he kind of do it effortless. You don't get that every day, and if you don't have that, you better have somebody that can move, that can move around in the pocket. So
like
I
look at
think y'all will have an improved offense because y'all will have a little bit more direction this coming year. Like watching y'all in that Seahawks game, man, I was just like, let's go back to that game. Like, how was you feeling knowing that the coaching staff in multiple games down the stretch did not have a plan and you're watching this team, the Seahawks, zero blitz the whole fourth quarter, and there
dude,
never
I
was a
don't know.
timeout where the offensive coordinator came to Caleb and said, if you get the zero blitz look, we're going to run a rub route on this left side, on the weak side, and either you're going to throw the slant or the rub, or we're going to do a fake wheel. We're going to screen or do something. Like, how was you thinking watching it?
I don't. How am I sitting at home knowing what I'm supposed to do out there, and these fucks are getting paid for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I like you leave, start chipping. Like, why? Why? That's one thing about Ben Johnson I like because you noticed on the Lions they'll chip people to slow down the pass rush. That's one thing they never did to help Caleb at all. Never. And Caleb, yeah, he got sacked 60, 62 or 68 times or whatever, but he escaped almost 50 sacks. So that would have been over 100 sacks he would have had. Like, just cut those sacks in half and you'll see a better quarterback. It's just facts. And the court, I don't think any, maybe Jaden Daniels, but I don't think any other quarterback would have been as good behind in what he did. I got to applaud him for that because if this was any other quarterback, I guarantee you they would have folded. Like he still brought us back in games. He still, should have had a couple game-winning drives. I mean, think about it. Washington could have been. He could have had against the Lions. He could have against the Packers the two times he did. Uh, against the Vikings. I mean, those were 4 game stretch where we lost by a total like three. What was it? 5 points. So I mean, those games could have been won, but it comes down to coaching when it's crunch time,
Man, the
and
Hail
that's
Mary
why we didn't
game,
have.
the Hail Mary game tickled me so bad because the
Oh, bro.
defensive back is like shooting birds to the crowd. The play
Dude,
is going
yeah,
on
we won
behind him,
already. We won.
and he swatted at the ball and missed, and they caught it for a touchdown. It's like the fact that an NFL play was going on and he was taunting the crowd.
Dude,
I was just like that. Like to me, that felt like Bama this year when Law punched a Tennessee player on fourth down and one. And it's just like that just can't happen. Like guys got to have their head in the game, and to me, that just screams like coaching staff, front office culture.
accountability,
Like
man. Yeah,
the fact that he thinks it's okay to be
yeah.
doing that pre-play at the last play of the game and lose on that play is just like that's coaching.
Discipline, no
That's coaching and
discipline.
discipline.
Yep. See now that I guarantee if Johnson would have saw that shit, he fucking calls a timeout because I'm gonna watch more of Ben Johnson and watch the hard knock stuff for the Lions and stuff because I want to know more about him. But they say he's fiery, man. But I guarantee he would have cussed him out and sat him down. And then that 15 yards that supposedly Eberflus was like, it didn't matter if he got 50. Well, yeah, it did because he wouldn't have been, the ball would have been 15 yards shorter than the end zone. So he could have still caught it, but he would have to go another 15 yards to get to the end zone. So, and who knows? Bayard would have picked it off by then. Who knows? But I mean, nobody knows. But that's what should have happened.
Mm.
Like it just
All
comes down to crunch time. It's called coaching.
right, so looking at the roster, like, what do you think about Keenan Allen's year? Do you think he's a guy that, like, in my opinion, I think a lot of teams make the mistake of like sticking, letting the veterans stick around too long. I feel like
Yeah,
y'all should move on from
yeah,
some of the veteran guys and replace them with like some young guys that can grow with Caleb. Like, of course, you have like Keenan Allen's 1,000 yard receiver. Like having him come in this year was important, but it kind of reminded me of like us trading D Hop. It's like
yeah.
the Chiefs needed him more, and we needed to let some of our younger guys get more shine. And then Nick Westbrook goes for 9 touchdowns,
Well,
playing in the role of D Hop. Like I really like to see like kind of like the Panthers. The Panthers start moving on for some of the older guys, letting the young guys get a chance, and then Bryce Young started clicking with the young guys. So Josh Allen did it this year. You got rid of Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. Boom, Shakir, Keon Coleman steps right in, and the offense looks a little bit more dynamic because you don't have a guy you feel like you have to kind of get the ball to.
well, Keenan Allen, you're right. Now you mentioned Keenan Allen is a free agent. So, I mean, but you are right. I think he needs to, we don't need to re sign him. I think Rome should have got all his targets because Rome, I think, he's going to have a very good year next year. Him, Rome, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Swift. And then you go draft a thumper for another running back, because Swift is not supposed to be the one that's supposed to get you the short yardage. We didn't have that guy. Roshan is just he's got concussion issues. He wasn't him, which sucks because I really liked him in college and I liked him when we drafted him. But we go get him, we get a thumper, we get a defensive line, a tackle, a three technique, and then you know the team actually start looking. But Brisker is at concussion issues too. So we probably have to draft another safety in case that happens again because our backup safety was not good. Like you gotta start getting depth behind your starters that if they do happen to go out, since it's such a long season, you gotta still have guys that are somewhat talented behind that could still step in for 1 or 2 games and do just as good as Brisker would for 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm looking at y'all statistics for the year. I do think that y'all will do that though, because Ben Johnson is something that he brought. When you think of offense, you think of quarterback, receivers. The Lions really are behind Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. So, like when they took Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, everybody was surprised. Like y'all might surprise everybody and take Genty with
Right.
that pick. If y'all took Genty with that pick and put him with Swift, Swift was 959 yards last year, but outside of Caleb Williams, Rashawn Johnson only had 150 yards. So,
Right.
putting that 1-2 punch like Swift and Genty together, like it might take a lot of pressure off of Caleb Williams because if he had his statistics he had this year, next year with a better line and better run game and more direction, you really don't have to do more passing more so than just moving the chains and
Yeah.
getting first downs. I mean, you look at 62% completion percentage, that can increase 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks is not a bad year. It's just the
Nope.
point of like being able to move the ball and score in the red zone. Like that might be something that y'all might shock everybody and do, which is go after uh
Yes.
y'all might go after Genty in the first round instead of going tackle and might just run the hell out the football next year and be like the Chargers was with Herbert. Jim Harbaugh gets there. Herbert throws the ball 10 times less a game, has the same numbers, takes less hits. And one thing you can do for a bad offensive line is usually if they suck at pass blocking, if you run the football, they're
Run
fine.
the ball. Yep. And plus, if Johnson wants to happen to take any of his coaching staff from the Lions, I mean, he may go and try to sign. Well, the Bears will have to pay him, but sign the Lions OC or offensive line coach. And if he does that, he doesn't have to draft probably the top offensive line. He could probably get a second round lineman and do just as well because second round is possible starters as long as you draft in the second round. Now third is a little rough, but you could
It's a
still
little
find them.
spicy at
But
that third.
yeah, but you gotta find them in the first and second. It's like a needle in a haystack if you go past there. It's like you have to
To
develop
me, it's the
them.
same with the QB. I put the
Yep.
graphic up earlier where I've shown like all the teams that don't have a first round draft pick at QB at some capacity on their roster, it's just gonna naturally suffer. 12 out of the 14 teams that made the playoffs have first round draft picks. The other two are Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson. So then of the teams that don't have a first round draft pick on their roster, it's like Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, um, Jalen Hurts, um, Geno Smith. Like I went through them, it's 8 of them, and then like only 2 of the 8 have a winning record. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a
Yeah.
rarity that you get a Russell Wilson. It's a rarity that you get Dak Prescott or something. But normally, if you're looking at it, those are the guys with the biggest contracts because they didn't get a rookie deal and they're looking to make their money. So
Yep.
I mean, you get a non first round graded talent that's taken lower that wants his money on the back end. And to answer the question in the chat, he said that the Bears would have benefited more if they went to Allen. Rome cancels out more. No, not actually, because if you look at the receiving yards, Keenan Allen had 70 receptions on 121 targets for 744 yards. DJ Moore actually led them with 98 receptions and 966. Rome only had 54 receptions, but he had the same amount of yards as Keenan Allen. So you'd think that you might want to give more of those targets to your young receiver,
I'm on
Rome.
the
And,
field
and
more.
I think you should grow with your young players. I think sometimes when you got a young QB trying to like grow, push into the vets too much, like Rasheed Rice went to the Chiefs and became their number one receiver with all the veterans they had because
Yeah.
he built a good rapport with Patrick Mahomes, just like Shakir and Keon Coleman has with the Bills. You thought the Bills was gonna take a step back, losing Stephon Diggs. Same with C.J. Stroud. He looked better with Nico Johnson and Tank Dell than he did trying to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. Sometimes I think we get caught up on a name and like not really just look at like let these young guys grow with new players. There's no old guys getting the ball for the Lions. It was Laporta,
Nope.
it was Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's Jamison Williams, it's Jameer Gibbs. Like those are the young guys getting the opportunity to grow, and you getting them on rookie contracts. You're not paying them a lot of money. So I think there's a graphic that says like the best teams in the league draft the most picks, the worst teams draft the least amount. You know what I'm saying? You're always trying to reach for somebody else's star off of their team and paying them. And they're like, nah, we're going to keep developing and drafting young talent and have more depth. The Eagles are great at it.
Ooh.
The Eagles is
Yeah.
like get rid of Fletcher Cox and Hargraves, and now you got Jalen Carter like slamming centers pretty much every play up front. And like that's what you have to do. You got to be able to develop and draft talent. So hopefully y'all front office and our front office learn from our mistakes. Collaboration is the word.
Yeah.
Have a game
That,
plan.
that needs to go away.
Have a game plan on what you want to put, like how you want the vision of this team to be, and don't make
Yep.
it like a one and done process. Get somebody three years or so to really go through the motions of like putting together the team y'all want to see.
I like that he said that though. That was the only um, thing that he wanted to be reassured that those two guys are just stay out of their business.
Mm. Let's see. Becker got a question.
Oh.
Let's see. He say Ollie Gordon with Swift as a change of pace. In the back of the third. Let's see. Would be fire. No, no, he said, which would you rather have, Genty in the first round, or Ollie Gordon, or Amarion Hampton, or Dylan Sampson in the second and fourth round? Because
I'm
obviously, if you get Genty, you're looking at your tackle later, or if you get
yeah.
Ollie Gordon or Amarion Hampton or Dylan Sampson, you drafting Will Campbell first.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I I'm okay. Oh, okay, bud. Oh, the M&Ms was that stuff. Oh, All right. All right, we're gonna go to bed soon. Okay, let me finish up here. Leave him alone. But if we go up to get Gentry, or we take Gentry and then go in the second or fourth or second round for either one of those guys, I'm okay with it. Like I'm trusting. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy all this because we finally got someone that is the sexy head coach. I'm gonna let whatever he wants to do. I know damn well he's gonna probably build identical what he did in on the Lions team.
Mm.
Offensive line, play action, run the ball. Caleb Williams is gonna hit deep throws like Jared Goff does. And their offense, I don't think their offense is going to be like clicking like that right away. That's not going to happen overnight. It didn't the first year he started. I don't think. I think he was like I don't know fifth or seventh. I think his first year, but still, I'll take that. I'll take a top 10 offense. Hell, we've never even had anything higher than 15. I think. I mean, that was
Mm.
2006 when we had Rex Grossman.
Yeah, y'all went to the Super Bowl with Devin Hester returning kicks. That was
Yeah,
that was,
yeah. I mean, yeah, and
that
winning
was
with
kind of
special
crazy. Like
teams.
looking
I
back
mean,
on that
yeah,
team, like Rex Grossman. Like you almost don't even remember who was on that team. That team was like all defense and special teams.
yeah, Rex Grossman, Cedric Benson, Musa Muhammad. I mean, Bernard Berrien. I mean, those were our offensive weapons. Thomas Jones was a beast, though. That man was a beast.
All right, we got a question in the chat. He said, "Do you think Williams is the answer?"
Williams is the guy. He's the guy. And I don't. And everybody that was drafted this year can all be good. Now, will they ever be great like Mahomes? I don't fucking know. Now we all strive, want it to happen, sure. But like Buddha said earlier in the stream, you got to get in where you can get your Super Bowl and get out. And the Lions probably already lost their chance to get their Super Bowl and get out because you had a 3 year window, and and if you don't have coordinators that stick around for a long time like these guys did, then you're not gonna win it. As much as I hate to say that for you Lions fans, but it stinks. Your window is closing. I mean, I can't say it's shut completely because I don't know what happens now. But when you lose two coordinators, that's a fucking kick in the dick, big time.
Mm. Hold on one second.
Like I remember what was it? I, what teams lost all their coordinators? I don't remember. Even when the Patriots are good, obviously. Look what happens when they have Tom Brady, but even their coordinators. Anybody that lose coordinators, that is just gonna have a and other teams are going to gain. Like Aaron Glenn, he interviewed for the Jets. I think that's a great place for him. Have all those guys accountable. He's got a great defense. His quarterback, we'll see what they do because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is back. So it's I feel for you Lions fans, but you know what? You still got a good team.
Welcome to New York
But I
City.
thank you for your offensive coordinator.
All right, so I just got one more little one more little like tough question because I gotta add to that Caleb Williams situation. I don't think he's not the guy. I think a lot of people like have these things about young QBs that they're like they see them play like one game and they're like, oh, this guy, da 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 da. Whatever I thought about him is true. I mean, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 62% completions. I think with the dysfunction in Chicago, I think that could all improve next year with Ben Johnson, or it could be CJ Stroud. It could go backwards. But what I've said is you got to draft a guy in the first round. I don't think Caleb Williams' success in Chicago is all on Caleb Williams. It's on the organization, what they put around him, what they structure, like how the offense looks. Because they really like having a head coach letting all that time run out of that one game where he could have
Oh
called
no.
timeout and regroup just didn't make
Yeah.
sense. So like that's not on the rookie QB. I can look at the Tennessee Titans and say that our quarterbacks led the league in turnovers this year. Caleb Williams didn't do that. I can't say the Browns are picking number 2 in the draft. They were second in the league at turnovers at the quarterback position. So it's things you can't have. is a guy that I haven't seen Caleb Williams just turn the ball over. I've seen him take some unnecessary stacks, but that could be
Oh
worked
yeah.
on with
Yep.
offensive line and offensive scheme. So I I think when you look at the guys, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, all the guys that were taken in the first round all seem to look like good QBs. So it just
Yep.
depends on can the organizations like put around them what they need to succeed because in the positions they've been in, they've all played well. So,
Even
like I say, you get a chance to take the first round graded quarterback. Like if the Titans take Ward or Shadur, their success or fail rate solely belongs to Brinker, Bergonzi, Brian Callahan. That's it. Like
yep.
can they put around them? Because Will Levis had everything. Will Levis had everything. He had the 1,000-yard running back. He had D Hop and Calvin Ridley, 2,000-yard receivers. You had Tyler Boyd in the slot. You had everything except for a right tackle, and that could have been navigated. And even in games where he didn't get sacked, he didn't he didn't score points. Like he didn't have good statistics even when he didn't get hit. So um I think the Titans are out on Will Levis, but I think Caleb Williams is not the issue in Chicago. I think it it also depends your rookie year on where you go to because if you go to one of these purgatory teams, no disrespect, but the Titans, the Bears, the Panthers,
Raiders.
the Jets, the Raiders, the Browns, you go to one of these teams that traditionally haven't been good at developing young QBs, it's like playing wife swap. Jaden
Yep.
Daniels, I thought was the best QB coming out of the draft
Early.
this past year. I was on record saying it pre-draft because of what I seen him do in college in some big games. But then again, he gets to go play with Cliff Kingsbury, who understands what to do with a QB, and he's not sitting in dysfunction on the sideline and allowed to like play his game. So that's my thought about Caleb Williams. I watched him play several games this season, and I didn't think he was the issue in Chicago because I seen him make some plays. Sometimes I say, man, this dude really got talent. I just hope Chicago doesn't back to back Turk first round quarterbacks and like not fully allow them to develop and put the things around them for them to win.
Well, I think they made the right hire finally. And finally the quarterback is not the issue in Chicago. Now we just have to see if Caleb gets to or develops with Ben Johnson. I mean, we've seen um what's his Jared Goff gotten a lot better with Ben Johnson each year. So now we just got to see if they, this is what Caleb wanted. He wanted Ben Johnson. He got what he asked for. So now make it work and let's see what happens.
For sure.
You know?
I'm gonna answer a couple more. We're gonna pop a couple more questions before
Yeah.
Ohio State in this game. But they
Oh
said, do the
yeah, it's already
Browns
over.
honestly keep Watson as a backup and start Ward or Sanders if they draft either? Um, they restructured Deshaun Watson's contract and he's hurt. So
Yeah.
there's a strong chance that he won't even be active on the roster
Nope.
this coming season. So I really don't think it mattered because his injury was severe enough that if the season started, he wouldn't be cleared to play anyway. So whoever they drafting, I expect to play day one, unless they do something crazy and go spend even more money on the bridge. But I think for them to do something like that, they would have to trade Miles Garrett.
Yeah. I think they would do that too. Plus, we may have seen the last time Deshaun Watson played for the Browns.
Could be. I mean, he ruptured the Achilles after all that. That's
Yeah,
that.
re-injured it, and I mean, I just take my money, Buddha, and I go sit on the beach, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't gonna
All
lie.
the shit
I mean,
that happened to me and all the shit that I've gone through, all the shit that I did myself, being a jackass. Just take my money, go sit on the beach, leave people alone.
it depends
Watch
on
football
like
on your
where
phone.
his heart is at. I can see him. I can see him taking the money and sitting. And once they finally like clear and cut him, like taking like a full couple years off, he might get Alex Smith that thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's still
Yeah.
young. I mean, Sam Darnold's what 26,
Oh yeah.
27. Like guys could like these guys are under 30. They're not Kirk Cousins, 36 coming off of an injury. I think he still got time. If that's what he chooses to do, who would take a chance on him being removed from football for such a long time? Who knows?
Cowboys.
Who knows? But I think his days of being a starter in the league is they could be probably over. He said, "What do you
Yeah,
think about Travis Hunter?" I'll let you go first. What do you think about Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter is an elite player. I mean, the fact that I guarantee someone. I mean, if I draft him, I'm gonna give him some plays as wide receiver too. Like he can play all the downs he wants in the corner, and then I'd still like that's something that you don't see anymore. Like that's just like a hybrid player, like something that man, just like Otani and football and baseball, you don't see that a pitcher and a hitter that can crush home runs. You don't
Nah,
you don't see
you don't
a
see it.
corner that can play wide receiver both sides anymore. I love him. I love the player. He's a, I wish we could draft him. To be honest, that'd be awesome. But whoever does is going to get that lockdown corner and good and probably I'd say he can't be a number one, but he'll be that gadget guy that you got to watch out for.
True.
15 plays on offense you give him. Those are
Mm-hmm.
15. It could be 15 big plays.
True. I mean, what I think about Hunter is the Titans and the Browns desperately need a QB, and if they don't want to pick one, I expect that the Giants, Raiders, and Jets would trade up in a heartbeat to draft one of those QBs. So I expect Shador and Ward to go 1-2, 1A, 1B. Don't matter which
Yeah,
one. I think if the Giants are sitting there at 3, with Brian Burns and Thibodeau being on their roster, I don't see them taking Abdul Carter or Mason Graham because they got Dexter Lawrence. I see if the two QBs are off the board and the Giants can't move up, I see them taking Travis Hunter at third. And
yeah.
if some kind of way they don't take him at third, some trade happens, he's not getting past the Patriots at 4. Like I don't
Oh
see
yeah.
him getting past.
Mike Vrabel will take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because like if you're getting a guy that like this is my thought. If you put him on at DB, he's gonna be a starting corner. If you choose to not play him at DB and play him at receiver, I think he's a guy that can, be 1,000-yard receiver on the offense next season. So whichever way you decide you want to play him, I think it's gonna be perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, because look at the Giants. If the Giants like don't get what they want at QB, but let's say they go get Sam Darnold in free agency and then put Travis Hunter with Malik Neighbors, that could be dirty.
Yeah,
Like, if he falls to the Patriots and he's with Drake May with Christian Gonzalez at corner, that's
yeah,
dirty. So like the two teams that he's probably gonna go to, like unless the Browns shock everybody and go bridge and draft him at 2, like that that like even on the Browns, they traditionally had a really good defense. You're gonna be in a division where you get to probably tune in and see Travis Hunter guarding Jamar Chase on a Sunday. Like
yeah,
whichever you get, I think that's why I say in the draft between Ward and Shador, between Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, Mason Graham and T Mac from Arizona, like those first 6 picks are gonna be like some goons. And then after that, you got Will Campbell at tackle. You got Tyler Warren at tight end from Penn State. You got Genty. Like you got some elite guys that are gonna come in and make an impact. Like think about the Raiders last year. Everybody was like, man, they just took Meyer, but then they turned around and drafted Bowers. Like one of the
yeah.
all-time great tight end seasons from a rookie, Bowers. So it's like it's gonna be interesting to see this draft because this draft can impact a lot of teams.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I think Drake May's good too. And granted, it's only been rookie years, but out of all these rookies, I think this will be the first year that we've actually had like what is it, 8 rookie quarterbacks that all look pretty good. Like I don't think there's ever been that many quarterbacks coming out of a draft
Mm-mm.
that all could be possibly good. And for the league too, that's good for the league.
It is
Like,
because it shows like some promise that when you see C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels like winning playoff games as rookie QBs, Bo Nix getting the Broncos back into the playoffs, I think it's
yep,
is good for the NFL. The Browns would move on from Watson if they could. The problem is his contract was fully guaranteed the day it was signed.
200 and what, 230, I think.
And then he said, "I see
Oh
the
man,
Giants take Cam Ward. The Giants pick third, and the Titans and the Browns are in front of them. And if the Titans or the Browns don't want to take QB, the Raiders and the Jets is foaming at the mouth to give up Max Crosby or somebody like that to move
really
up.
good quarterback.
Because I mean, that's that's the carrot that's gonna get it dangled in front of the horse. Is the Browns the one? If they want to move up to one, they got Miles Garrett. If the Raiders want to move up, they got Max Crosby. Like, these teams have like guys that are like like all pro, you know, caliber players that they're gonna dangle in front of somebody to move up. So just depends on, you know, what these teams need. You know, I had some. If you've been able to do some of the mock drafts, I encourage y'all to go do the mock draft yourself, and do it like 10 times and see like if you're taking trades, if you're not taking trades, if you're drafting, what is really available by the time you pick on average, like on each round, and you kind of start to see like, okay, now this is gonna see like the Bears got good money, Titans got good money, Commanders have a lot of money in free agent. It affects the
Yeah.
free agent market because you kind of know what would be around in draft. But if you can fill some holes in free agency before you even get to the draft period and cut some guys early to free up money before the draft even hits, it kind of like makes the picture more clear about where you want to go. Have you done any mock drafts recent?
I have not. I'm gonna be doing them more. I've been usually just watching when you do, but I'm gonna do some.
Yeah, I'd be
I'd like to
interested to
see what
see.
they.
I'd be
Yeah,
interested to see your see the Bears mock drafts if you
yeah,
did like 10 of them and like took your best one and say
yeah. I
like,
can do
yo,
that, and I'll post it in the Discord.
yeah, for sure. Like if
My
you post it
best
in your
one.
page, just tag me and
Oh, okay.
I'll
That's
pull up
fine.
to it to kind of see because I've done the Titans one so many times. It's funny now that I see like Titans beat writers now starting to do it and realizing that like 3 weeks ago I posted what the AI thought I would get if I traded the number one pick.
Yeah.
It's like the Browns would give me their pick plus like a second, a third, a fourth, and a second round pick in the next year's draft. Then you got to really question like, oh, do I really feel that strong about Ward or Shadur that I wouldn't take an extra 3 picks in the draft and one next year with already having an extra fourth and a fifth? Like, is it really that bad if you don't get Ward and get Shadur if you finna get if you finna get all those extra picks? And then it's
Uh,
like the Titans should not trade back past the Browns. They just shouldn't. It's like
no.
I've seen the value in it. If you trade back to three and both QBs on the board, you're being forced defense. And odds is if they took Abdul Carter, they trade Harold Landry anyways. So it's like it's not like you're doubling down on the defense. So the way I look at it is if you're the Titans, you can't trade with the Jets or Raiders. Like they don't have enough that would impact the team enough.
You guys got to take the quarterback. Cam Ward, I think, would be good for you guys because, like you said, escapability means a lot. Like, who knows how much uh, Jaden Daniels would have been sacked if he couldn't escape. You
True.
know?
Like the like Shadur, I think would look better in Callahan's offense because like you got to think what the Bengals look like is kind of Callahan's offense, but at the same
Yeah.
time, that offense also got Joe Burrow killed year one, his first year in the league. So like the more and more the Titans fans are looking at it, the more it looks like Cam Ward might be the first pick. I think it shakes the draft up if the Titans take Cam Ward only because Dion has said he doesn't want Shador to go to the Browns. So then that would leave the Browns trading with either the Giants, the Jets, or the Raiders. So then that's their thing is like now that affects the Browns draft. But if the Browns don't get their QB, then you got to trade Miles Garrett at that point. But the Browns could do something, you know, really spicy, which is let's say Ward is off the board and Dion won't allow Shador to go to the Browns. Dangle that I would dangle the carrot and get the biggest piece back. Trade Miles Garrett, take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, won't matter. You'll probably have 2 picks in the first round. You really could go crazy, and then in the second round, man, shoot your shot. Say I
Yeah.
want Milrow or Quinn Ewers as as my second round QB,
Yeah.
and go get a bridge and start there. I mean, nothing could be worse than like having Jameis Winston and DTR playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At
Jameis
least you got
Winston, you know
something
he's
different
gonna
to
throw
look
some
at.
picks. Oh man, I like him as a person, but yeah, he's just I don't know what he does when he throws the ball. Sometimes he has a lot of good throws, and then he has just as many like what the.
Yeah, he do. Becker like T Higgins. T Higgins on the Commanders would be scary. But if I'm the Commanders, like I would I would be the team that would be like, let me get Miles Garrett for my first, because they're gonna be picking at the end of the draft. What if the Commanders gave up their first for Miles Garrett to the Browns and put Miles Garrett on that defense? Because only reason why I would be scared about a T Higgins, when teams brings in these 25, $30 million receivers, like how has it worked for Tariq Hill in Miami? How has it worked for Debo Samuel in the 49? Like they produce, but it starts to become a point of like you gotta get them the ball a lot. Like it takes away catches from Scary Terry. Like maybe they comfortable with Scary Terry being their one, and they get somebody like Golden out of Texas in the draft at
Yeah,
receiver. Then like, do you really care
or
about T
Bond.
Higgins if you get Golden?
You get Bond too.
Man, Bond like he Bond at Alabama and Bond at Texas was like two different players. Like it's like I don't know if he wasn't comfortable with Sark or what, but he looked like a totally different. He was a number one in Alabama, and then he got to Texas and just like kind of like got lost in the shuffle.
But that was in Sonic too. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up and we're gonna go to bed. Okay. All right. You can say bye to everybody. You can wave. Bye. Good
Bye.
night, everybody. Cool. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna say goodbye to these guys. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, buddy. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay. All right.
I just noticed you got a Jay Cutler jersey on your chair.
Yep. Jay Cutler still is my guy, but it's gonna be Williams now.
Gonna be Williams. Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully, like if they draft Cam Ward or Shador, they give me a reason to go on lids and get a new jersey. Because it's sad to say that the Tennessee Titans haven't had nobody in this past season that made me want to go buy a jersey.
I'll be up there in a minute. Okay.
That's tragic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never bought a Fields jersey, Buddha,
I ain't
because
got
I
no
already
Will
knew
Levis jersey.
I I didn't believe. I mean, just year one, I did. Come on, year one, they throw out Justin Fields to the Browns and gets sacked 9 times.
Mm,
That's the same thing. They didn't put any chips. They didn't do nothing like to. Now at least I know I have a head coach that sees what's going on out there. Your quarterback's starting to get hit, and I'll start chipping the pass rush a little bit, or leaving an extra blocker. I mean,
yeah.
not getting blitzed, zero blitz every time he gets sacked. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody that can call a timeout and regroup and say, "Hey, look, what are you seeing versus what we looking at? On this tablet. If they give you this look, this got to be the look. Hey guys, protect. Let's get the ball out. Like let's run a clean route. like you gotta punish people if they run and cover zero, man. You can't just let somebody cover zero a whole fourth quarter and never make one adjustment.
Yeah,
Because
somebody's
that,
open.
that last pass when he just had to throw it straight up in the air and hope somebody ran under is just like, dog. That can't be
Yeah,
that can't be the play you call like with the game on the line.
right. I mean,
Even
there
if
was
you got to
no.
move the pocket and give him a chance to sprint right option, like that's the old classic. We can't block them. Sprint right option levels. Hopefully somebody can get open, or we can buy enough time to where you can find a soft spot in the zone or something. But
Yep, I'm excited. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on. I
oh,
will
for
see what
sure.
they do with the staff. Um, Dennis Allen, I heard, possibly for DC. He's been a good DC, not a good head coach, so I'm good with that. Um, Maybe the offensive line from the Lions, but they said a good thing to do is for a rookie head coach is to hire, I mean, past head coaches, to help you on your staff that's gone through it before. So hopefully he finds an older head coach that's a coordinator. Could be the special teams uh, coach, or could be a passing coordinator, something. You don't know anybody, but as long as you hire someone that's done it before, you can lean on a little bit. What do I do here? Then you should be all right with year one. I think that's what happened with your coach, that he didn't do that. I think that's what the one thing he should do this year is hire someone that, has been a head coach that could be one of his coordinators or an assistant coach or something that he can lean on certain situations, or ask certain situations. Because like you said, I mean, collaboration's bad. Two minds are better than one, but any more than that is just
Yeah.
is not good at all for your team. I mean, you hire the people for a reason, to do their job. Let them do their job.
True, true, man. I appreciate you popping in here, man. We
For
probably
sure.
all get together like closer to the draft, man. Make sure you tag me in that mock draft.
Oh yeah,
I want to see what you
definitely.
pick for the Bears, man.